y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind scrappywife.com, and today I have a memory plan with me process. I am recording my memories from the week of November 9th through the 15th. I have all my pictures printed out, my supplies gathered over here. I will make sure to list everything that I use down below just in case you want to check those out. Otherwise, I will put you on fast forward. Let's go. All right, I will start by trimming out my pictures. I print my pictures at home. I have an Epson PictureMate 400 and I have an app on my phone called Print to Size, and basically I just put 4 pictures, as you can see, to every 4x6, so they end up being about 2x3, and that fits pretty well in the boxes of this big happy planner. I did actually end up printing one picture as a 3x4 because it was a really beautiful picture and I definitely wanted to highlight it just a bit. And I tend to print a few extra because I want to make sure I take up all the slots. And then I actually keep a record of a picture a day and I put that on the monthly layout. So any pictures that I don't end up using in this weekly layout, I just end up cutting out and using in my monthly layout, which works really well. So I'm able to kind of experiment, move pictures around, and figure out what it is that I want to do. So I have this chipboard frame and it is from the Simple Stories Cozy Days line, and it is super cute, but the chipboard will end up adding a lot of bulk to my scrapbook, to my memory planner, and it's already getting bulky and I haven't even been doing it that long. So I'm trying to not put as much bulk in, but that's okay with these chipboard pieces. You can just peel off the backs. And so that's what I do. And you'll see me do that several times throughout this video, is that I just peel down those chipboard pieces. You still get a little bit of dimension, but then you don't have quite the amount of bulk. You can see I'm going to cover up that column over there on the left with this beautiful autumn leaf paper. Again, most of this paper, it's from my Hip Kit Club subscription for the month of October, and a lot of it is that Simple Stories line. So I will make sure to link that below. And I just cover up that whole sidebar, and then I'm going to use a few of the scraps as kind of like a washi tape effect. So I have over there is my pictures of my kiddos. Those are actually all pictures from Wednesday of that week when we had our first hot chocolate of the season as we were putting up our Christmas tree. I did not have room to have them all on Wednesday, but I definitely wanted those pictures. And that's what's great about the sidebar, is that you can fit in a few extra photos. So some weeks I have a lot of photos, some weeks I don't have as many, and so I do something different in that sidebar, but I like that I have that option here to just include a few extra pieces. So photos of each of my kids over there, and then I will just continue to kind of place these photos around. I like to leave openings for journaling. I do take notes and add a few little stories here and there on these planner spreads, so I don't cover it completely. I do like to keep some journaling. And here is where I'm going to use some of those scraps as kind of a washi tape. So adding it in right here. The pink that is on those horizontal lines, it doesn't actually clash. It goes okay, but it's not really what I'm looking for. So I will end up covering it up little by little as we go. And you'll see I have some different methods for doing that with either paper or stickers, things like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this large photo down. It's a picture of my boys and I and our sweet dog cuddling on Sunday morning that my husband happened to capture, and it's just such a cute photo. I love it. So that's why that one is extra big and framed, just because I thought it was super cute over there. So I'll go ahead and put that one down, and now I'm going to start looking at how I want to mat my other photos. You definitely do not have to mat your photos on these memory planning spreads. I know a lot of people do not. I like it because it brings in a little bit more color. It helps me kind of keep my theme going throughout the whole spread. I tend to mat pictures in groups. So I'll have one on one side and then one on the other side so that it's balanced as far as the paper that I'm using. So you'll see I'm just going to kind of add a little bit of adhesive, and then I'll use that same paper to mat a picture over on the right side of the spread. And I don't really measure it out either. I just put the photo down and then trim around it. So you could definitely measure and make sure everything is nice and square, but for me it doesn't really matter. And the goal of these spreads is to just enjoy it and to not worry about the perfectness of how everything is laid out. You can see I ended up moving the pictures over there to be all in one horizontal line, and I'm actually going to mat them that way. I like that because it actually opens up a pretty large space for journaling underneath, and I will be able to journal the entire weekend, like just some thoughts on the entire weekend. I'll be able to include all in one space right underneath there, and it gives a little bit more space to that larger framed photo that I put at the bottom of the page, so I feel like it balances that particular side of the spread really nicely. I'm a little bit sad that I end up using this paper. I love this paper, but you don't get to read many of the words on the paper, and they are just beautiful. They have words like cozy and autumn and pumpkin spice, which are just so perfect for the season, but that's okay. It's the hints of it, and I just really, really like the gray on it as well. So adding that in there, and then just like before, I will end up balancing that out with a matting on the other side. And I'll actually do another large grouping, and I think that's a fun way to kind of bring pictures together. I do lay these out pretty much by day, and so the day I take the pictures, the day it goes on for the most part. It's not always perfect, but this way it groups those days together. So this will be Tuesday pictures all together there, and I'll know that those were all on that particular Tuesday. All right, the last paper that I'm going to use is this beautiful deep purple burgundy color, and I just love it. And it's a picture of my first red cup of the season, one of the holiday cups from Starbucks. We actually put up our Christmas tree on Veterans Day. We needed a little extra joy in our house, so it was a rainy, dreary day, and we decided to go ahead and put up our Christmas tree. That's when my kiddos had their first hot chocolate of the season. My husband brought me some holiday Starbucks, and it was just wonderful. So I don't think there's rules. You'll have to let me know, when do you put up your Christmas tree? We were originally going to be traveling at Christmas, and those plans have since gotten canceled. So I had wanted to put them up early, put up our Christmas tree early just so we can enjoy it before we traveled, and now we're just going to get a chance to enjoy it extra long this year, and that is perfectly okay, because I think in 2020 there are kind of no more rules. You do what really brings joy to your family, and our Christmas tree definitely brings us a lot of joy. The kids had a great time putting it up. I totally let them put up the ornaments, and they are all over the place, and it's adorable. Like, it's the best Christmas tree. I love staring at it in the evenings. All right, I officially have all my pictures secured down. Now I'm going to come back with some scraps, and this is that same dark burgundy purple color, and I will use it as washi to cover up some of these pink strips here and there. I'll trim it out just a little bit, and for me this helps bring balance a little bit more to the page, because I did not have another picture to mat in that same paper, and so I wanted to bring that color around the page in a few more spots. So I'm able to put it kind of here and there and everywhere, and it moves that color around the page, which works really nicely as far as just adding a little balance for your eyes. I think, should I put it up there? I can't decide. I will definitely be layering it down here at the bottom, and then I'll come up with a different plan later on how I want to include that piece. I feel like it might be too much maroon if it connects straight to that other picture that's already matted, but you'll see later on I change my mind, and I will cut another little strip and put it in there. I have one little tiny strip left over, and I'll end up sticking it down in a little bit. You can see I'm experimenting with some different papers. What do I want to do? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and use that maroon. It creates a consistency, and that can be hard on these spreads. I don't change the color of my pictures. They're all different colors, and so sometimes it's hard to bring these weekly spreads together, even though I'm using the same papers from the same lines. So having these repeated elements really helps that. So I'll layer on a little bit more over here on the right side where that gray paper is, so that brings the color over even more. My adhesive got a little wacky there. So layering that on, and then I have just a tiny little bit left that I will trim off, and I will just use that last little bit over here in the bottom corner. You'll see me in just a second adding just a little bit more color right down there, and now I feel pretty good about all of the lines of the page and the balance thus far. Now that all of the main elements are on the page, I am getting to do the fun part, which is embellish, and I have this Jen Hatfield set of ephemera, and it feels more like a spring set to me, I will be honest, but it came in this month's Hip Kit Club, and so I'm trying to figure out how I want to use it. And I love these houses. Of course, like a lot of people, we have been staying home like nobody's business for 2020, and so I love the idea of all of these little houses, all of these pictures of our life at home, which is just what our year has been. And so I will use that house theme, and I end up trimming out these houses. So they had a pretty good border around them, and it was just a little bit too much white for me. So I'm going to trim it out just so that they layer a little bit nicely. And you can see I'm mixing the black and white and the color houses. And let me know below what you think of that. I couldn't decide if I wanted to go one or the other. I really wanted to fill up that whole space at the bottom, so I did end up layering. I did the black and white kind of in the background, and then brought the colorful houses over top of them. Let me know what you think about layering those two. I still can't decide if I'm a fan or not. It worked out because it gave me enough houses to fill up that whole space. But yeah, like I said, it was kind of tough. And then I mixed in gold just for good measure, just went all the way for it. So mixing in those little gold houses in different parts. And then of course that little cute doggy cutout over there as we cuddle with our dog. Here is where I'm going to use those chipboard pieces again. These are just so cute. I wish I had the sticker sheet of this so that they would be completely flat. But what I'm going to do is pop out some of the chipboard pieces, lay them out where I want them to go. Love the cozy day, give thanks, pumpkin spice, everything nice, perfect for this time of year. Adding a little acorn just to layer on those gold houses. I felt like they were a little stark on their own, so I definitely wanted to layer pieces on top of them. I didn't really like that acorn over there. I'm trying to figure out what I want to layer on the little house over there. I had a little coffee cup with my husband, and I will do the same thing, which is just pulling those backings off so that they're thinner, and then I just end up gluing them all down so it doesn't add as much bulk. Now I have the Cozy Days alphabet, and I will add a little phrase here at the bottom over this house to fill in some of the space of my son and I taking silly photos with our masks on, although his mask came off. As soon as I said, let's do a silly photo, he started pulling his mask down. So I'm adding the phrase, love you, and it brings in that same writing that you see in a couple other spots on the page, which is why I just love using these kits, because it makes it really easy knowing that all of these elements are going to go together really nicely. I want to see what other phrases I can add, because I do have these stickers that are going to go really nicely, and you'll see me make a little mistake here. So I'm pulling my sheet out and I see the phrase that says hello neighbor, which is perfect because we have one family that we spend our weekends with, and there are good neighbors and our good friends, and so I'm going to add that right up there. But as I'm doing that, I let my hand end up moving one of the chipboard pieces down below, and I smear glue all over that beautiful picture of my sons and I, so I have to cover it up a little bit later. And I'm like, where? I get glue on my hand. I'm like, where did that glue come from? Well, now I have to figure out how I'm going to cover up that little mistake. So again, the foam stickers to the rescue. So I'll just put some stickers over that part. It didn't get on any of our faces or anything, but it did kind of scuff up the photo. And so putting the sticker over top of where it is a little bit messed up kind of fixes that problem without me having to take off the whole photo, which is adhered down super well at this point. So adding the phrase happy together, and then I'm figuring out what phrase I want to add above my daughter's head. We will add a nice bold hey up there because I like how it says hey cozy day. And then I think I add one more. This is just such a beautiful sheet of stickers. I love the gold. It works really well with fall tones. And I love, they have a making memories phrase. And so I will add that on right here to kind of define this area, making memories. And that will be it for the stickers on this page. Again, moving the gold around the page, making sure it occurs in several spots, works really well for this layout. All right, we are getting really close to the end. I'm just adding the dates on the top with my Archer and Olive acrylic pen, which is just wonderful. These are amazing pens. If you haven't tried them, I highly suggest you do. And then I will go ahead and use a T ruler to add my journaling lines. I will journal off camera so you guys don't have to watch me write all of the little details of our week, but I do like adding the journaling lines just so that there's, again, a uniformity, a consistency to make sure that my handwriting stays about the same size and online. And I do like to use my own handwriting because I think there's something special about looking back on someone's handwriting, and I do hope my kids will look back on some of these projects someday and kind of look back at how our lives were in that particular time. And with that, my spread is done. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I have listed all of the supplies I use down below, so make sure to check those out. I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.